Snake, have you seen 007 from Russia with Love?
Nah, I don't like those movies. Real spies are nothing like James Bond. It's pure fantasy.
Snake, I don't think the Major's going to like you saying that.
And even though it's fiction, I can't help but comparing myself to Bond.
What exactly don't you like about James Bond? I mean, is it the fantastic gadgets, the cars, the guns?
Major,
Snake, wouldn't you like to have a gun shaped like a pen?
what good is a pen gonna do me in the jungle? I'd look like a fool.
Then what about a snake-shaped gun? You could make it look like you're grappling with a giant snake and then get a shot in on the enemy while they're distracted. Ha!
Okay, now you're being ridiculous.
We'll make you a snake-shaped gun that folds up and fits into an attaché case.
Will you give it a rest?
Oh, I get it. You're worried about how to handle the ladies, aren't you?
No.
I knew it. To tell you the truth, I don't like the idea of playing hanky-panky with enemy femme fatales either. But that's part of Bond's appeal. You could learn a thing or two from him. Maybe if you change your codename to 00 Snake.
Major.
007 is the biggest thing to come out of England since the Mayflower. I wouldn't be surprised if they made 20 more of those movies.
Didn't you know? The Major is a huge James Bond fan. Don't get him worked up like this.
Worked up.
Maybe you don't realize this, but now that you've got him started talking about Bond, I'm going to have to listen to him lecture for a whole hour after he gets off the radio.
You have my sympathy.
So, from Russia with Love. Now, I haven't seen this, you have.
I have indeed. I like it a lot.
Yeah, you've watched all of the James Bond films, haven't you?
Yes, all of them apart from the most recent one.
Which is ironic, because that's the only one I've seen, all the way through.
You don't say.
Yeah, it's funny like that. And I'm kind of hoping, I expect it'll be a fun ride, maybe a bit campy, based on what I know about James Bond.
Oh, it's campy, alright.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope I like it.
We've just finished watching From Russia with Love,
Yes, we have.
the second installment in the James Bond franchise, I believe, isn't that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. Well, did you want to start off talking about it, or?
I guess so. I liked it. I was a little disappointed with the villain because I think one of my first notes was I really appreciated, like, early on in the film they were sort of building up the villains and just they weren't like making them like too nuanced or anything. They were just like crazy people and like the generals were crazy. The guy they got was meant to be crazy. And then you go through like the training field and they're using flamethrowers as like in the foreground, they're doing karate. And it's like, oh yeah, sometimes we use living targets. Like the opening scene, they kill that guy in the training exercise, don't they?
Yeah, they're crazy bastards.
Yeah, and it's just, they're so crazy in that opening scene. I was a little disappointed that the rest of it's quite stoic, quite, like, a lot of it's just people having loaded conversations and, like you know, these refined discussions and stuff. And then, like, the actual fight scene with that guy, it's like, I want to say at the 3/4 point, they take him out. And then there's, like, some cool set pieces after that. Like, you know, the exploding boats and the bit at the end where he's fighting the old lady. She's trying to kick him.
Yes.
But, yeah, I was a little disappointed with, like, the payoff to that promise. But,
I think you would have appreciated more all that stuff if you had seen the first James Bond film, because even at this stage in the filming, they were still experimenting with stuff. I mean, sure, they're based on books, but when you convert it to a film adaptation, it's like completely different. And with the first film, everything you thought was crazy about that, it's tenfold in the first film. Like, there's no direction whatsoever. There's a scene when he's basically having a crab battle with a spider, and in the end, he just kills it with a shoe.
right.
That's like a whole scene in itself. It lasts about 5 minutes. That's pretty entertaining, so we should definitely watch that at some point. But yeah, this one has a lot more structure, and yeah, you might think that it's sort of stoic and maybe even boring at some parts. But I don't know, that sort of comes with the territory when you are making it a lot more concise and more directed.
Yeah. And I suppose it did make the more outlandish parts a bit more, like better contrast.
Yes.
I also thought, as an addition to that original point, it was good contrast. It's like, they're all very serious, they're all very stuck up, and orderly. And then you go to the British ones, and they're kind of chummy.
They are, yeah. And I think that's probably because of James Bond's character. Like he definitely rubs off on the staff that he interacts with.
Oh, he rubs off.
He definitely rubs off on Moneypenny. He probably rubbed off on M a few times. Sick, what little character he is. Well, I've got a few notes concerning like the very beginning of the movie.
Oh, just before you get onto that, I did think it was really funny during the training exercise where he shoots the gun, and when he looks back, he's like, oh, and he just moves to the left a little to hide behind the statue. It's like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that bit. I remember you chuckling. But right from the get-go, James Bond is one of those series where it actually has two intros, I've noticed. There's the initial intro, which just establishes that it is a James Bond film, and that's the whole scene of him going across the screen with a gun barrel aimed towards him. And for every different James Bond, that is every actor that replaces the character, they do like a different animation for that, or they do a different like version of it. What did you think of? Because I think actually Sean Connery is the only Bond in that segment who wears a hat.
I didn't notice that.
You didn't? What, you didn't notice?
What, like the silhouetted thing where it shoots down the gun barrel and the blood drips down? No, I didn't notice.
Yeah, he wore a hat, and
I did think, because I didn't really. He's like wearing a hat during that whole last sequence, isn't he?
And it's not just like what he's wearing; it's like how he shoots the assassin who's trying to take him out. Like Sean Connery, he just like does like a hip twist and he shoots. There'll be another James Bond who does more of a Wild West sort of gunslinging sort of thing.
Oh yeah, like from the hip.
Yeah, and some of them will like get down on the knee and take him out. So they've all got different approaches, and I've always liked that about the Bond films. I've seen all of them. Yeah. I've seen everything.
Yeah. I also thought I was thinking about the sort of the Metal Gear connections. I thought like the whole Cypher Inspector thing. It's like, oh, it's a ghost, or oh, it's a Zero. It doesn't exist, because obviously that's actually a part of the story, is that Zero is such a big James Bond fan and he lets his machinations get away with him. But I was also thinking the bad guy in this, he was a bit skull-facey, wasn't he? It's like, oh, I've been your guardian angel. I've been there every time looking after you. And I wondered if that was also just sort of like a bit of an inspiration for it.
Maybe. I mean, just from his appearance, well, when you first see him, you don't have many characters to compare him to, right? So, but you see that he's in fine shape.
Yes.
He seems like a giant.
Yeah, sort of barrel-chested.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you compare it to number 2.
Yeah.
She's like tiny. She's such a tiny woman. And she's the first to inspect him. She like gets a knuckle duster.
Yeah. I love that. That's just another like crazy thing they do. So
when the film starts and you see that character for the first time, you think he must be a giant. But then you see him later on in the film with James and Tatiana.
Yeah.
And he's smaller than both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that did surprise, because I thought you know me, I'm a little bit face blind, but I was like, that's him, right? But he does look smaller.
Yeah. It's definitely took me aback. Also, speaking of faces and that fellow, there are some shots where he did look like Daniel Craig. And I wonder, was that an intentional casting in the future? They thought, he looks a bit like somebody from a old film. Wouldn't it freak people out to make that comparison? It's almost like the Russians are winning.
Yeah.
But going back to that first scene when he was practicing taking out Bond with the fake Bond.
Yeah.
It was like just like, oh, we love Bond. Oh, we love killing Bond. Let's make a mask of Bond and put it on our own men and then kill them. It's like, oh, do we really have to kill them? I mean, they're our men. It's like, no, it's no fun that way.
Yeah, and obviously that's for the audience's benefit, but he didn't even really need the mask, did he?
No.
But another thing I thought, I appreciated how it's like I was saying before, like it's almost like, I'm sure it's somewhat based on real spy work, but it's almost like a child's like idea of what being a spy is like, just all the cool stuff, and I just really like that, how it commits to it. The one thing about the suitcase, because the knife I get, like, oh, you can get a surprise knife, the exploding thing, yeah, so someone can't open it, or they'll get face full of smoke. The one thing I didn't get was why the coins were in the lining, because the gun is like, a lot of this stuff you could just keep in the case, and it's like, well, if it's going through customs or something, I don't know if they had customs to that extent back then, but the point is you're concealing stuff, it's secret. But then inside of it, you just got a gun. So I didn't really see the point of that, but...
No, well, the whole point of those... You'll if you ever do watch any more James Bond,
Well,
you'll find that...
It's like a Chekhov's gun type thing.
Well, at the beginning of each film, Q, who's a guy who constructs these devices and whatnot, he'll, at the beginning of a film... In fact, in this film, he says, now, don't forget this, Bond, it's very important. What he's actually doing is he's talking to the audience at that point, and basically he's just like, now, remember this, because it doesn't make any sense, but because I'm saying it makes sense now, it will make sense in the future.
That's a thing as well, because obviously that's foreshadowing. But I was thinking the scar was meant to be foreshadowing, like he's going to turn his back again or not turn his back again, but it didn't actually come back, did it? Was that just a reference to a previous film where the girl betrays him at the end?
Well, it might have been a reference. I don't remember how he got the scar, or if it even did happen in a previous film.
Or if they just added it for this one.
Yeah, I think it was just like an example of like, she knows everything about him because she's read his profile.
Yeah. And also that he's not a trusting person by nature, so the fact that he does start to trust her by the end. I also thought, I liked the bit with the chess scene, because, again, it's kind of like, we got to show that Bond is smart and tactical. How do we do that? Oh, he's playing a chess match in a big room full of people. But I liked the shot composition of that. There's a lot of really cool sets in this. But yeah, I liked that. And obviously beats him, and it's just sort of letting you know, this is a game of strategy, this is a game of tactics. Even though I think what's happening in the film is pretty straightforward when you get to the end of it. But throughout the whole thing, I was like, do I understand what's going on? And then by the end, I was like, oh yeah, I guess I do.
I think the confusion with this film really is that there are so many players.
Yeah.
And they don't always... Like, they might be introduced at the very beginning and won't make an appearance again until halfway through the film. And by then, you've probably forgotten about them.
And a lot of the action sequences that happen, it's not exactly clear why they're happening at first until the end.
Well, speaking of the action sequences, a lot of it, like when you were saying about it's a kid's approach to a spy film, a lot of it does look like play fighting, because there was that one scene where he just gently grazed that fellow and he said, no, stay down.
Yeah. Well, that was when like the bank exploded or something.
Yeah, and there was tear gas going everywhere.
Yeah, and he just... I do like in that scene how like everything explodes. There's a lot of good explosions in this. Like, it's very stagey sort of explosions. But again, I just really like that old school set design type thing. And everyone else is panicking. And James is just like, all right, I guess I gotta... And then one guy pulls out all the drawers in a drawer. He's like, I gotta save my drawers.
My drawers.
Oh.
They held absolutely nothing, but they will one day.
Oh, if only I could save my other drawers. But they're filled with poo right now.
I know this is backtracking a little bit, but going back to the beginning, when I was mentioning the two openings.
Yeah.
So obviously you'd have the one opening that tells you which actor is playing Bond, and the second opening will be unique to whatever film you're watching. So in this one, it's a belly dancer with projected credits onto her.
Yes.
And throughout the whole time, I was thinking, I'm trying to look at these credits. Get out the way. She keeps moving her hands in front of it, doing all these wavy things, and then all of a sudden there's a crazy abdominal motion, and it looks like there's a xenomorph about to pop out of her.
It reminds me... I don't know if this was an inspiration, but apparently in the original version of MGS3, you know the boss has that big snake scar?
Yes.
And she was meant... I think it might have been meant to have been a tattoo at first or something, but basically she was meant to always have her tits out. And when she fires for Patriot, it would make her boobs jiggle, and that would make the tattoo move and make it look like it was wriggling like a snake.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think his team said, maybe that's too much, man.
I don't know, that definitely seems like it would be a good DVD extra.
Yeah.
It sounds cool, the way you're describing it. I mean, I've always liked the a tattoo moving sort of aesthetic.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of scars, by the way, when you were mentioning... that Tatiana could like tell it was Bond just by the scars.
Yeah.
Well, that's one similarity between Metal Gear Solid and this film, but there's a few more actually. Well, main one being that she's called Tatiana.
Yeah.
That's what Eva. She's playing a character called Tatiana in the game. But also there was the Mauser. I don't know if you noticed, but the fella was using a
I didn't notice
broom
Mauser,
handle.
no.
Yeah, it's the fella when they were at the gypsy camp, and the guy, the blonde-haired fella, was going around just like seeing everything happen. He was using a Mauser,
Ah.
so that was probably a reference. There's probably more as well. There weren't any toe knives in Metal Gear Solid 3, were there?
No, not to my knowledge.
No, but we'll get back to the toe knife.
Yeah. I thought, you know the bit where he's going around his hotel room or whatever, and he's looking for bugs. He's like checking all the paintings and stuff, but it's playing that really dramatic music in the background, but kind of quietly, and it almost sounds like there's a speaker somewhere. He's like, where's that music coming from?
I was suspecting that, actually, because when the camera was following him one direction, it would go quiet, and then when it came back, it would get louder again. I was like, is there actually a stereo somewhere in the room?
Or is that the music he hears? It's like his spidey sense. Like when he hears that music, that means there's a bug nearby, and you just gotta wait. It's like hot and cold.
It's like in LA Noire when you hear ding, 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 ding. That means you've just passed by a potential clue.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on... Yeah, let's get into like actual characters and what you think about them. What do you think about that Turkish guy?
Oh, he was cool. When we were first meeting him, I was thinking, like we've had quite a few long conversation scenes. Do we really need another? But then he was like a cool guy because he was just sort of along for a ride. He was like pally. He wasn't like a super overconfident guy like Bond, but he was like affable. But I thought it was pretty funny the scene where like that woman who like wants him so bad, it's like not now, and then she's like, oh please, it's like. I guess.
Well, he's an old fella. He's definitely... Well, he said in the film, actually, I could tell you all about how I was in the circus. But you don't want to hear that. And I thought to myself, you know what? I actually think I would like a whole film about this guy.
If it had been Metal Gear, he definitely would have told us all about his time in the circus.
Yes.
Yeah. And he would have been called, like, like, Tightrope Man or something.
Talking about his code name?
Well, yeah.
Okay. But no, I liked him. He was a real bro.
Yeah. And it's a shame. Yeah, it's a shame he died.
That's kind of part of the course of James Bond films. It's like deaths and certain endings to characters, not necessarily deaths. They do come unexpected. But that's the thing. When you start watching these films, you start expecting everything.
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't happen, you didn't expect that.
Like double bluffing you almost.
Yeah. That is such the ways of a spy film. Double bluffing.
I appreciate that obviously he ends up with a different woman in every film, but I appreciate that the Bond girl didn't die. And also she did get to do something cool at the end, because when you compare it to Metal Gear Solid 3 again, Eva's more actualized, like she's like, she was quite passive in this film, but Bond liked her, whereas Eva's like a lot more proactive, but it's kind of reversed, like Snake's the one who's sort of...
he sort of just sees her as an asset for the most part.
I think he does... he does fancy her, but I think he's either awkward or, like, he's cautious, like he doesn't want to... he's just been betrayed by the boss, isn't he? The last thing he wants is to get close to someone again.
Yeah.
But then finally, when all bets are off, at the end they get together, and then she does betray him, so he's probably right to be cautious.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, she does. She saves him at the end, like she's like, and then manages to shoot the mean lady, who's trying to do a little kicky attack.
Yes. So, what did you think to Blofeld? This is his first, not really appearance, but it's his first time being in the film.
Well, I'll be honest. As soon as he came on the screen and he's stroking the cat, I'm thinking, Dr. Evil and Mr. Bigglesworth.
Yes.
Yeah, I suppose that's the downside of seeing the parody first, but. Yeah, I liked it. It was like the kids thing of like, obviously Claw is probably inspired by Blofeld, because you never see Claw in Inspector Gadget, do you?
No.
And I just kind of like that whole aesthetic of like supervillain type thing, because I think in a lot of modern films, at least popular ones that lots of people see, I sometimes think the villains are a little undercooked. Like you get enough of them to go like they're the bad guy, but they don't go like full supervillain like this, where they're just like these crazy conspiracy sort of controlling people with like crazy powers and machinations and stuff. but then they don't always go super nuanced into like, oh, you can sort of empathize with them. Like, I guess I'm thinking mostly of Marvel films. Like, they typically don't. They haven't done very well with villains in a lot of their films. There are some good ones, like, obviously Loki and Thanos and.
Well, that's got a whole repertoire of bad guys to choose from. And with that, it's not always easy to focus on one solely when you could have two in a movie.
Yeah.
Or more than two. But I think Bond has the same problem because there's loads of potential. I mean, they've got the whole world and they could just create any character at all. But Blofeld, well, first thing I think I say about Blofeld is like in this film, every time he speaks, it zooms in on a shot of his cat.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was thinking, is Blofeld the cat?
That would be an amazing twist.
I mean, he never shows his lips, but I was thinking because at the very end of the first scene that we see him in, he gets one of the fish from a tank.
Yeah,
and he feeds it to the cat, and I thought, wouldn't it be funny if like his voice was muffled as if he was eating it? He was like, "Now go on and do your job." It's like, oh my god, it is the cat.
Here's the thing. That's just going full on into the like supervillain thing. He's got like the tank of fish. He's giving a speech about nature and destruction. It's like, yes, we will let them tire themselves out. Like, that's obviously foreshadowing what's going on in the film. They're playing people against each other, then they're going to swoop in at the end and steal the device. But yeah, I don't know if I didn't quite see what was going on there, but I think one of the fish killed the other fish, and they just fed the tail fin to the cat, didn't they?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was the whole fish.
It was a little. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe it was a different fish, because there's lots of compartments, wasn't there?
One thing I want to touch upon, because I always enjoy this in Bond films, especially the earlier ones, is the choreography. Choreography, that's right.
Yeah.
Because, well, fight scenes we've already touched upon were quite humorous.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you think about the fight between the women?
Oh yeah, that's actually one of my next notes. That was quite, like, it gave me WrestleMania vibes, sort of, like, I'm gonna get you. Yes. And then, like, they're really telegraphing their moves and stuff and, like, rolling over and just go. I did like the shot of Bond, like, he's just looking like, yes, very, very cultured, yes.
Am I really watching what I think I'm watching? Throughout that entire gypsy camp fight scene, there were times when he'd just be interrupting someone else's fight. So these two fellas jump into a tent and he lets them go about doing a business, but he also like sabotages the tent so it collapses on top of them. It's like, yeah, there you go. Now try fighting. It's not very nice, is it? Because he was opposed to the women fighting the whole time. He just wanted them all to like, well, eventually got what he wanted, which was to fuck them both. And right before the end of that scene, there are these two fellas on a bench. And they were strangling the life out of each other. And Bond at this point, he's not supposed to be interacting with them, but it's almost like Sean Connery, like he was looking for his mark. He's found it. He was like, oh, where's the actor I need to be interacting with right now? And he can't find him. Turns around, seeing these two fellas strangle each other on the bench, and he goes, I'll just tip this bench over. Does it? But and then there's one more instance that I found funny when when James and Tatiana are trying to leave the hotel, I think, and they're going through the underpassage. It's right before they encounter the rats.
Yeah.
He just kicks this bit of rubble, but he doesn't kick anything out of the way. It's almost like he's just frustrated on set and he just kicks something just for the hell of it.
It's kind of stagey in a way, isn't it? Like, if you imagine he was on stage and he did that, it would be more theatre of the mind, like, oh yeah, he's kicking something out of the way, but it's just actually a tiny rock. Is the implication there that he's afraid of rats? Because he's so cool and unafraid, but when you see all the rats, he's like, what does he say? I wrote it down.
He said, this way. Now let's go back.
It goes, back inside.
Back inside. Yes. That
was another great set, the underground bit.
That was, yeah. There's two ways you could see that. You can see that as maybe he's turning back for her sake.
Yeah.
She's a woman, she doesn't like things scuttling around and frightening her. Or he's using that as an excuse, and actually he is shit scared of rats.
That was what I thought, yeah.
Yes, probably the case.
One of my favourite lines was during the Gypsy Camp section, which was thank you.
Yeah, that sounded like a Turkish merchant from Resident Evil 4 or something.
Yeah.
He had a very distinct way of laughing.
And the bit just before that, where I think the Russian guy's like surveilling, I can't remember if it's a Russian guy or it's the Russian guy's helping beat or whatever. But because of her belly dancing, which really went mental, didn't it? Like she was shaking like there's no tomorrow. But I like how this reminded me of a bit from Limmy. Was when the guard's distracted, when he turns back and he sees the guy, and he's like, and then he shoots him because he's distracted by the belly dancing. You know the bit in Limmy where he's like, "Why don't you tell me your story?" He's like, "All right, what I got to lose?" And he looks and she's taken aback by the.
Just takes him out with the laptop bag.
Yeah.
I give you more than that. I give you my time. Must be a Scottish thing.
The guy is like, "Now you are my son." They looked like they were the same age.
Yeah, well. It was at the gypsy camp scene. Maybe it's just a cultural thing where if you've done something very kind or courageous for someone else, then they'll dub you their son if they happen to be older than you.
It struck me as like that cliche in some things where you see, "You have done my people a great service. You may lay with my daughter."
Yes, and he laid with two.
Yeah.
Or at least it was heavily implied.
Yes.
Like it faded to black as if they were going to get it on, and then it faded and it was morning. And those two women who were with James, they were just sort of mending his clothing, and I just made the joke of, "Thank you very much for spending all night fixing my tuxedo." That's all they were doing, nothing else.
There's a bit where he's recording information about the device from was it Tatiana?
Oh yes.
Yeah, and she starts, like, she can't control herself. She wants him so bad, so she just keeps interrupting, like, "Oh, James, please, what you..." And, like, all of his... There's just, like, a big shot of everyone in a room listening to the tape. I just thought that was really funny. It's kind of self-aware, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Not too much, but just enough.
What I did find a bit strange about that scene is that Miss Moneypenny is in there with them. And it's just a room filled with men listening to the recording, and she's in there, and they ask her to leave because it's getting a bit too raunchy. And then they start playing again once she has left. But why? She's a grown woman.
I guess maybe it's just the attitude. It's like, the woman's afraid of rats, or, the woman can't handle all this, I guess it's just the attitudes of the time.
I guess so. But M knows that she's listening from her office.
I guess, I don't know, a weird, ostensible, plausible deniability thing.
He just didn't want her to see his erection, that's all. Just to see it. I mean, she can't hear it, unless it's like, he just happens to be wearing leather and it's going...
All the guys in there are just going to have a big orgy, like, "Oh, yes, James.
I know you're listening." Oh, Sean wouldn't say that.
Oh, yeah, the bit where they encounter that guy on the train, and, like, to restrain him, they just kind of, like, unbutton his jacket and pull it down.
Yeah, and actually in the fight scene, almost immediately after that, with the blonde-haired fella, he did the same trick, like, during the fight. He took his clothes off and was like, "Are they going to fight or are they going to fuck?" Right? Because I can't tell anymore.
It's like, it's a bit like that Happy Gilmore thing where he, like, pulls their shirt down and then punches them.
Yes, that's generally a good move, though.
Yeah.
Disorients them. Maybe that's all there is to it. Like, it wasn't to bind him. It was to... "You've taken my clothes partially off. What's going to happen next? I must think."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was half lost in thought there. Yeah, like I said, I thought it was a bit weird that they took him out so early. And then there's like two more major bits. There's a bit where he's escaping on the boat, and he does the big explosion. And that's pretty cool, but everyone's reaction to it is so farcical. Like, there's one guy who almost seems like, maybe I can put it out as it gets exploded. There's another guy who's on fire, who doesn't seem to mind at first, and he's like, "Oh, wait, I'm on fire," and throws himself in the water. Like, the general commander or whatever is like, "Come on, guys, like, God, there's fire everywhere."
And it all happens in a matter of, like, 10 frames.
Yeah.
It says, "Go on, get out, save yourselves." Oh, now I'm on fire.
And also, I mean... Obviously, Bond's just that good, but he lined it up so well, considering he was on a speedboat. He, like, got perfect line of them.
Yes.
But, yeah.
You'll find that most action sequences like that in the early James Bond films, they seem a bit too convenient sometimes. Like, we haven't even talked about the helicopter scene.
Oh, yeah.
He just keeps ducking underneath. The helicopter's just, like, trying to swipe him.
Yeah, like, in real life, if you were trying to do that maneuver, you're putting yourself more at risk than you are... of, like, I guess it's a bit like in Mission Impossible, where he's like trying to slice Tom Cruise's head off with a helicopter blade.
Yeah, except the pilot here didn't look like they were trying to do that. Just trying to scoop him up and.
Yeah, and then like when he beats him, obviously he shoots one of the guys in there, but he was just about to throw a grenade. I don't think there's any way Bond could have known that, so it was still cool though.
He's particularly observant. No, but just to finish off that helicopter sequence, it had exploded, and James Bond, like he does, he goes in for a one-liner. But the one-liner he used for that is, looks like one of their aircraft is missing.
Oh yeah,
that's not funny. It's not even a joke, really.
It's a bit long-winded.
It's not even an accurate statement.
I guess it's underplaying the fact that he just blew it up, I guess is the gag. But
it's lines like that I think people don't like James Bond, because sometimes he has plenty of one-liners, but in the early days, they don't always stick. So if you're watching these first set of movies when you're first introduced to the series, and you hear a line like that, you'll be like, well, I mean, he's a misogynistic pig, and he can't even come up with funny one-liners. What's the point?
Like, maybe Arnold should have walked on screen for a second and just gone, well, they really blew it.
See, he knows how to do it.
Yeah.
He's directed. I think it's almost like Sean Connery's left to his own devices at some points. That's why he's just randomly kicking shit over during action sequences.
Yeah.
Yes.
Adding stuff. We've kind of covered the final fight, but obviously it's kind of humorous that just this old lady is trying to kick him.
Yeah.
And he's like, she's got like a hidden shoe and he gets a chair.
A toe knife.
Yeah.
A true Frank Reynolds sort of
weapon. I botched it.
And, well, I'll mention this because it was very funny to me, but during the segment before then, when Blofeld is... Well, he seems to be summoning someone to the room to take out number 2, which he's now referring to as number 3, as if to say she's been demoted.
Yeah.
Demoted so much, she's going to die.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, the twist occurs where the fella comes in. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
And he has a toe knife, and that's how he decides to... It's like a poison-tipped one, and that's how he kicks and kills the other fella. But you didn't see any of that.
No, I was looking away. I was making a note. So I just saw him kick this guy in the shin.
Yeah, and you made the joke that, kick you in the shin, that'll teach you a lesson. And then he slowly starts dying, and you're thinking, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. It's like, wow, he's really choked. He's really sad about getting kicked in the shin.
And I think I made a joke saying, how did he know that was my weak point? He slowly dies, and that's it. And I had to explain to you that the fella had a toe knife.
Yeah, I could.
That's a good explanation for about anything. If you're missing exposition for something that you think is very important, just say, he had a toe knife. So there are a few instances in the film when... Because what I like about Metal Gear Solid is that if you don't count Twin Snakes anyway, there's not too many like cutscenes when Snake takes a shot and it's in slow motion, it's very cool, and he's a dead shot, he's a dead aim. You know, he'll fire upon things in cutscenes and they won't always hit the mark, and James Bond does the same thing. There's plenty of times where he shoots and he misses, with the exception of when he shoots the rocket launcher to save Ocelot. That's the only instance I can think of Big Boss
pulling off a crazy shot.
Yeah.
We'll do a little wrap up afterwards, but my final point was, do you think that's where the Avengers got the will return thing from? Because I was surprised. You said, not quite the end, and I was like, that's weird. And it's like, James Bond will return in Goldfinger.
Yes, I think we've been doing that ever since the beginning, even.
Yeah.
Like in Dr. No's credits.
Which is a smart move, because it's like ensuring sort of, like, obviously people liked it, they'll see the next one, but it's like ensuring sort of it's creating anticipation, isn't it?
Yes. And I suppose there's not really any downside, because if you didn't like Dr. No, and you saw, he will return in this film, you'd be like, well, I won't watch it. That'll free up my time. So it's good for everyone, really. Yeah,
and the next one he'll be fighting like, this is Goldfinger. I accidentally shot him in the head with a nail gun.
How many Happy Gilmore references are you going to make?
I don't know. I guess those two.
It's because we watched the second film.
Yes, I suppose so. Yeah. Overall, pretty enjoyable film. Maybe a little slow by today's standards, and obviously a little silly, but that's part of its charm.
Yeah, I think you have to be quite focused with this film, I find. Like if you start to drift off and lose your attention,
Or like look away to make notes.
yeah, you'll miss something that's quite important. Like
Yeah.
like a toe knife.
Yeah, I think growing up, I was under I don't know why I had this impression, but I was like, you don't need to pay attention to every part of the film. But there are some films where like every part is important, and like if you miss something, you're gonna be confused later on.
I mean, imagine if you missed that conversation between Q and Bond at the beginning, and then the suitcase scene happens, and you're like, "Oh, what kind of suitcase is this?
Yeah.
What am I watching?"
Was the implication? Maybe this is a bad idea to bring this up now, but was the implication at the end that he took the coins out of that suitcase, put them in another one? So we're like, oh no, but then the twist is, oh, that wasn't the exploding suitcase, this one is.
Yeah, that must have been the case, yeah.
Because I was wondering, if that was another thing, why were the coins in the lining? It would be just like, I have these coins, that's not a secret.
I think the coin that he just told Bond about the coins because he happened to be in a country that would accept those coins.
Yeah, and also, I guess it made it more memorable, the idea that they were in the linings, and it was important for later on, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, very good film. Very charming. I liked it.
Do you think it would, does it urge you to watch any more James Bond films? Not anytime soon, but ever.
I guess, yeah, I would. I mean, here's the thing. You compare it to the Daniel Craig ones, and apparently they got a little more, a little more fanciful as they went on. They started out very grounded, very stoic. I guess because that was, that's the style of the time.
Yes.
But I did like that opening sequence where he had like, I won't say, but there's some gadgets and stuff.
Yes.
And but yeah, I'd watch another one.
I like gadgets. I like Bond.
We could make you a snake-shaped gun.
Oh, that's something I didn't bring up. When he's when would I bring it up? Was it during like one of their love scenes?
I can't remember.
So you could. Then how about a dick-shaped gun? You could make it look like you're fucking the enemy, then catch him unawares while he's not looking. Haha.
What good would a dick do me in the jungle? I'd look like a fool.
You would.
You're worried about the balls, aren't you, Snake? Well, tell you the truth, I don't much care for testicles either. But that's the appeal of Bond.
Hanky panky.
So that's been From Russia with Love, and we'll see you next time for The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Excellent, Snake.